Thank you for taking your time doing this interview. And you probably heard this a lot lately, but this is one of my favorite books. And I was a little bit scared, but really excited before I saw the show. And no, unnecessarily, it's really amazing. And I love the magic of it. And but knowing this huge fan base, how much pressure did you actually feel to live up to this expectations?
I think it was helpful to not understand that there was a fan base.
I didn't understand the gravity of it.
No, I didn't.
This has been crazy.
It's sort of, I'm starting to realize now, but thankfully all the shooting is done. So like, I'd never really felt the pressure because I didn't realize, you know, I feel like I see the words bestseller on the front of a book quite often, but I don't know what that really means, and I don't know how, you know, how many people that means, how many people have read it, or. So I really didn't feel the pressure from that angle. I felt the pressure personally, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to try and be as good as I could in the role. And I think I had the longest journey to go to come on, because I was the least rock star, and probably am still the least rock star out of everyone. But you know, so I think
it's overwhelming.
All internal pressure for me.
To see this fan base. I don't think that we understood the gravity of what was on our hands, which is probably better because we were able to just immerse ourselves in the role, but just like being here in London and seeing the response and just the amount of people like you that are, you know, it's one of my favorite books. It just, I don't know, it feels like a warm hug every time we hear that.
It's very exciting. Like it's very fun when there's already so much built-in emotion, and everybody already feels very connected to the characters already. So that's actually kind of like a wonderful part about it, I think. That kind of, you know, the emotional, like this. I think the book and the show, you know, the characters are constantly in. There's so much conflict, and there's and it's just, and I think what makes it special is it's just life. There's so much life in it. Things like, you know, working out and not working out, and it makes you reflect on your own life a lot. And I think that so the fact that there's already all these emotions in is.
I remember reading the book and thinking, oh my God, this has to be a real band. I had to Google it and see.
I thought that too. I was Googling it too. Yeah. And I knew it wasn't a real band. Even when I was doing like the show audition and watching the book again, I knew it wasn't a real band.
You regretted me and I regretted you. You couldn't handle your liquor and you can't see the end of the truth.
You write songs about who you wish you were, not who you are. What if he wrote songs about the guy that maybe wants things that he shouldn't?
Billy and Daisy actually wrote songs about love and the people they love. I was wondering, did you ever do something slightly this romantic? I mean, don't know, wrote a song for someone you love? I don't know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, that's like the love is the driving force behind, love and people not loving you back, and you loving somebody else more, and people leaving you and you leaving them. I mean, that's like, all of that stuff is, that's...
All comes back to that.
That's when I find my music starts sounding happy, so I have to try and keep in the...
When you're in love?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll start writing all these like soppy little songs and being like, look what I made you.
Yeah.
But I have to dial it back and be like, no.
Sam, you already talked about the journey you did for this show. So where did this desire come from to do this specific role?
Do you know what? It's strange. It's a very musical book, right? Like, it's a very musical story. There's a lot of music throughout, but for whatever reason, that wasn't at all what I saw or what I read. Like, for me, it was more the struggles of a man who, you know, is married with a child, and him struggling with like the love of his life, which is music, and finding that balance. You know, that is something I've kind of lived through and been through, and come out the other end of, and you know, I don't know. For me, there was just so much of Billy that I saw in myself, that it you know, it felt like it was, I don't know, it was sort of hand delivered to me like on a plate. You know, it just felt like the gift of a lifetime to play someone I could really relate to, and I know this man. Fine, he's American, which means I have to do an accent every day, and I'd be overthinking that. But like, I don't know, the sort of journey that he goes on through this, I just knew it's a gift, I think, as an actor.
Yeah, and he's a great character, but I have to admit, Camilla is my favorite character in the book. Maybe one of my favorite characters.
You've made my day.
You know what? Because she's so confident in her relationship with Billy, although he does all these things, and I would like run, but she does not, and she believes in her family, and she believes in this relationship, and I think that's a strong character trait. And when you were getting to know her character, did you understand her behavior all through the book?
Like you said, my instinct was run, and I think that, you know, I was really quick to judge her without really fully understanding her, and there's way more depth to just run, right? Like every decision that she makes in her life is so calculated and so intentional. I don't think, you know, I could just see Camila as a very smart character, and she would never do something, I think, that doesn't make her feel good and strong and like it's her decision. And even though she's quote unquote, you know, rock star housewife, she's so much more than that. And it just really shows you what like the importance of a person with incredible foundation in your life is, and how far Billy gets with that kind of support. And yeah, I think that by the end of reading the book and kind of looking at this character, I was in full support of her choices and her independence, and who are we to judge.
And when it comes to you pulling off your performances, how did you need the other cast members to be able to do your role?
Yeah, I feel like I knew, yeah, sorry.
Just, it was so important, you know. I think if this had a different cast, it would have been a completely different show. I think we all drew from one another in so many ways, and it was, like, I'm so grateful to the casting for this because we all got along so well, you know, and I think that, for me, made it more so than a lot of things.
Who'd want to hear a song about that?
I think everybody would.
You already talked about Billy and his struggle with addiction, and one of the most heartbreaking scenes for me is the one when he's not able to see his child after it's born. How challenging was it for you to do this specific part, being a father yourself?
I have to say that the most difficult part, beyond the music, of like Billy's journey through this film or this story, was the moment where I had to be disconnected from Juliet, like from, you know, coming out of rehab, when she's like saying, "Pick up your daughter." I think I'm a natural dad. Like I think I've grown up loving kids, and I think it's one of those things that I'd say that's the only thing I'm really good at, being a kids handler. But honestly, we'd have these babies, and I was so hard to like not want to cuddle them and be with them. And we had a little girl, Naya, who was like 4 years old, which was the same age as my daughter. So having the opportunity to like live out my own relationship with my daughter through this relationship with this new, you know, our little baby girl, it was just so rewarding to me. But yeah, the sequences leading up to that, the moment with Teddy Price in the car, yeah, I mean, there's so many heavy scenes, but that scene in particular was a very, very difficult day.
You did great in that.
And we honestly, me and Tom did so many different variations of that scene. Scenes like moments where he would be screaming at me, and moments where I'd be screaming at him, and then we did like moments where I would be crying and moments where I wasn't crying. So it was so nice, and James, the director, was so playful with that scene and gave us the opportunity to explore it in so many different ways. So it was kind of exhausting, but yeah.
I cried when I saw that scene because I obviously didn't see you film that scene, and I cried.
No, yeah,
I told you that. I loved that.
I
scene.
did too. was really
Oh,
really
I'm
great.
sorry.
Thank you for talking to me, and I hope Daisy and the Six go on tour. Please make that
Oh,
happen.
maybe one day.
Can you imagine?
Gosh.
That'd be cool.
That would be great.